Hi, it's Jennifer with Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to, instead of doing our regular weekly forecast, we're going to take a look ahead at the whole month of May, since today is May 1st. So we're going to talk about all the upcoming transits that are going to be happening this month, and the things that you're going to be looking out for, when they're going to happen, kind of the whole vibe of the month. And then we're also going to do a little retrograde check-in to see how the Mercury retrograde is affecting you, and kind of talk about that. So let's get started. So on the 1st, today, May 1st, Pluto is going to station retrograde. Now, it hasn't gotten very far into Aquarius. It's only about, I think, 0 degrees, 22 minutes into Aquarius. So, what kind of feel have we gotten over the past, say, month or so since it started going in to Aquarius? This is going to be, again, I've said in previous videos, a generational thing. So whatever we start seeing is going to be, themes that are going to come out with, I think, the next generation that's going to be starting, really getting into it in 2024. So what kind of themes have we been seeing? Pluto in Aquarius, I find that that would be a lot of themes that have to do with taking care of people, helping people. If you look at what's going on around just the United States right now, we have the immigrant crisis down at the border. We have homeless encampments that are coming up. And I think so a lot of this is going to be how we're going to maybe take care of these people, or help these people, or just get these things under control, so it's not just going out of control. They're taking these migrants and busing them all over the place, and it's just we have to find better pathways and better ways of helping these people that are living on the streets in these tent cities and whatnot. So I see a lot of humanitarian things getting started. Also, I see a lot of things happening in just government in general. People having a lot of pushback over government controls and that type of thing. People don't like the government to have control, and they don't control my body, don't control that I can own guns, don't control the things that I say. People fighting back, about being controlled and wanting their freedom. That's what the United States is all about, is freedoms. And when we think back to the Declaration of Independence, we think about the freedoms that we were given, and now everything's kind of all this gun violence, and we're going to put regulations here. People are saying things they shouldn't be saying about all these different things. Maybe, well, some people might feel that way, or some people might feel like I can say whatever I want. It's freedom of speech. So it's all about these struggles, and I think things are really going to start ramping up about this in the next generation. Also, we see a lot of what we haven't really seen before in our presidents and whatnot is them being in court battles. So Trump being in court battles. He's going to be running for president, or he is running for president. And then we have Biden, who is our current president, that's going to be running again as well. He's got family members that have potential court battles. So a lot of challenges to those in power. A lot of, we're just not going to let this kind of stuff slide anymore. Also, the things we see on the news. If you think of just this past week, in one day, 2 huge news personalities just out of the blue just got fired. You might have seen it coming. They might have been a little too extreme one way or another. One was kind of on one side of the fence and one was kind of on the other side of the fence, but both of them just axed. So found that pretty interesting. So maybe we're going to see some changes in the way that news is given to us, the way that, maybe the biasness in the news, maybe they're going to, try and get some control over that and go back to, what the news really should be, on either side. So, and then if we just look back at the retrograde for ourselves with the Mercury retrograde, now how's that affecting you? We have, what have you, things that you've like rethought about, addressed maybe, the things that maybe you're gonna, try to rethink about and redo. It's just all about, maybe things have happened. Have you had any computer glitches? Maybe kind of, getting some new things for your computer to make. A lot of people have those kind of issues during the retrograde. So it's interesting to find out like what kind of issues you might have had during this retrograde so far. What conversations, discussions, and pursuits are you looking at? Maybe something that you have tried before, you want to try again. Well, once we get into about I think it's about the 14th, when Mercury goes direct, is when we're going to put those into action, those thoughts, those discussions, those ideas, those things that we went back and replayed with, and that's when we're going to start putting those into action. So then around the 5th, or not around the 5th, on the 5th, Venus will come into a sextile with Jupiter. Now, this is a very favorable aspect because, Venus is a benefic planet, Jupiter's a benefic planet. So it's about money. So maybe if you have a financial endeavor that you're starting, this should be pretty lucrative. It's a nice blend. Also, starting a new relationship or a new partnership. It's a great day to start doing that. Making new friends. It is, the 5th, so Cinco de Mayo. Time for you to get out and, make some new friends, have a great time. This is also kind of going on in, we got a lot going on in Taurus right now. So, Cinco de Mayo, drinking, eating, having a great time, just seeking those pleasurable things on this day, making new friends, making new connections, great day for it. Also on the same day, we're having the full moon or the lunar eclipse that's in Scorpio. Now, we had a previous video on that. Go take a look at that video. It's really informative, and it really gets into the T-square that we're having also with Lilith that we introduced in that, and that is our dark moon. That's our dark side, the things that we feel like we keep restricted, maybe that we even restrict in ourselves. So, let that stuff go. Just let it out. The Lilith is kind of your hidden needs, those desires that you kind of just, you hide away. It's your dark side of the moon. It's your moon is the outer needs and wants, and your Lilith is kind of those inner needs and wants, those kind of things that you kind of keep stifled up. Well, hey, have a few margaritas and let that go, just kind of be who you want to be. So then we have our next kind of big thing coming on in the month. We have Mercury again stationing direct on the 14th. So, that's again where we want to ramp up and get started on those things that we've been thinking about during the retrograde. Then on May 16th, we have Jupiter moving into Taurus. This makes Taurus a real full house. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. So what kind of planets do you have in there? So if you have planets in there, or if your sun, moon, rising signs in there, you're going to have a lot going on with all these planets in there. There's money, a lot to do with Taurus, has to do with money, and happiness, pleasure seeking. So you could easily Jupiter can overdo some things. So you want to watch, maybe overeating, maybe over drinking, maybe over shopping. Taurus is all about having all those nice things. So you might want to watch your spending habits. But also money could be kind of coming in a little bit, flowing a little bit easy. Maybe some things that you've been trying, all of a sudden they're really starting to take shape. So this looks very positive. Again, it's kind of like the Venus, with Jupiter, because they're both benefics. Venus rules Taurus, so it feels like a really good placement for the next, Jupiter's in that for about a year. So the next year is going to be a lot of, focus on this type of thing, especially if you have a lot of personal planets or things in your chart in Taurus. So then we have, on May 17th, we have a Jupiter, and it's going to be in a square to Pluto. Now this is a lot about, Pluto is again, has to do with those in power. Challenges to those in power. Your Jupiter, just they know what they want, and big things, big beginnings, big changes, maybe changes in government or the way that people are ruling. Maybe hopefully something maybe will be coming to a head in the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. Maybe someone's going to challenge Putin's power and be like, take him down off that. So we look, these are things that we kind of hope that this will manifest, but it could come out in lots of different ways. It is a square, so you just kind of never know how that's going to play out. You want things to do good, but you're going to get a lot of pushback. You're going to push forward and you're going to get pushed back from it. You might have people forcing their beliefs on you. We see that already happening a lot in the world with, you think my way or you're wrong. If you don't think a certain way, then you're opposite. People can't really discuss things as much as they used to anymore. Debating, and that is, there's so much animosity towards people that don't think the same way you do. So I would like to see maybe that this, will be helped a little bit in that. So then we go on to May 20th. We have Mars moving into Leo. It's about taking the spotlight. You feel outgoing, vibrant, charismatic. You want to be out there in the center of everything. Then on the same day, it makes an opposition to Pluto. So, again, resistance, a lot of resistance in the efforts that these are all mundane transits, so they're for everybody. They're not just for us. We need to look and see where they fall in our chart to see how they may affect us, but this is kind of on a mundane level. We're going to see a lot of resistance around efforts that we're, attempts that we're trying to do, a lot of pushback. Again, you think of government with the House trying to push certain bills forward, and then, the Senate pushing them back, or, that one side wants something, the other side, so there's a lot of pushback. Instead of really kind of blending together and talking and negotiating, it's just going to be a lot of, coming to a head. So then, the things that I think about a lot with this too is, you're trying to help, people are trying to help. Again, we're looking at the homeless crisis, the border crisis, people trying to do things in different ways, people not agreeing on, what should be done. So hopefully, these are going to be things that are going to be really coming up this month. A lot of pushback and a lot of challenges to power, I would expect. Then as the sun on the 22nd moves into Gemini, we'll do a whole video about Geminis and what that's all about. But a lot of overthinking, not overthinking, but thinking of things, using mental stimuli, talking things through. So maybe this can help with a lot of negotiations and that kind of thing. May 23rd, we have Mars coming into a square with Jupiter. It's about being maybe a little too overly optimistic, where you're, again, pushing things forward. The square kind of tells us to be a little more caution behind that. And then on about the 26th, we have Mars moving into Leo, or Mars that's in Leo, coming into a square with the North Node. Now we have another past video. If you're not sure about the nodes, definitely go check out that video. The North Node is about things that we feel that we are our desires, things that we really want to go for, even though it might not be the best thing for us. It's, I want money, power, fame, fortune, popularity. So it's in a square with it. So again, you might, once you get something, it might not be as good as, what you thought it was going to be. So again, proceed with caution and, just kind of step back and take some time. And then finally, we're going to end the month with the Sun coming into a square with Saturn. Again, it's that proceed with caution type of mentality. You have that inner struggle, or with the angel and the devil on your shoulder, one saying one thing and one saying another thing. The Sun's in Gemini. It's about like the two twins, and then Saturn kind of putting like a kibosh on things. So again, this whole month is really filled with a lot of power struggles, a lot of you're trying, or society is trying to do something and they're getting pushback from the government, vice versa. The government's trying to, do something and society is pushing back. It's all going to be for the greater good. So we have to think in an optimistic way, even though things might seem rough for a while, things will eventually work themselves out. So with the Pluto in Aquarius, a lot of things I noticed with the things happening with AI. Really interested to see how that's going to play out. To me, it's a little bit terrifying when you see that they can make these deep fakes and everything looks so real and everything sounds so real, and they're doing these phone calls with children saying that they're kidnapped and it's their voice and the parents believe it. And it's really, really a little scary to see the things that, this can be, what the future can be. And, that might be that little sneak peek, is that, what is this world going to be in the future? Nobody back in the 80s when I was growing up knew anything about, internet or cell phones or anything like that. And now that's all we rely on. Everyone has their cell phone attached to them 24 hours a day. Everyone has, internet, you can look things up so easily. You can, mapping systems, nobody needs books of maps anymore. So much has changed in just this past generation. So much more is going to change, and we're really, interested in seeing what these changes are going to bring. And this month is a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of sneak peeks of this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. Also, please subscribe. We're going to be doing another deep dive into something later in the week. We'll kind of figure that out as the week goes by. But anyway, I hope everyone has a great May. Ride those waves. I think it's going to be a fun month. Exciting news cycles. I think it's going to be a lot of, it's like going to be a roller coaster, and that season's starting. So get out there and enjoy it, and have a great month. See you soon. Bye-bye.